Let's move on to public question 6, which is from Melissa Topping, and that's on the East Bristol Liverpool neighbourhood. 2 questions for Councillor Plowden, please.
So the first question is on the screen. It's why are you claiming to have engaged with the Barton Hill Disabilities Group for EBLN when it doesn't exist? It's difficult for me to answer this question because it's from before I was the chair of the committee. And the response from officers is that in order to answer question 1, we require further detail of the specific issue being raised, as we are unsure of what you're referring to. We have engaged with various people and groups across the area with differing needs, including disabled people with a range of impairments. And we also work with the West of England's Centre for Inclusive Living to look at all transport plans at a formative stage. The second one is why are you claiming all stakeholder engagements in EBLN in support of it when there's no transparency in these engagements and stakeholders do not now support the true aspects of the scheme? And I think my answer to that has got to be that we don't claim that all stakeholder engagements in EBLN are supportive of the scheme. All engagements have been fully transparent. There's a full engagement report available on the website, and then EQIA, Equalities Impact Assessment, is also available on the website.
Melissa, do you have a supplementary?
I do, yes. Why are you insisting on continuing and forging ahead with so many people in opposition to it when you weren't in administration when all these things were supposedly done?
Melissa, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for keep coming and holding us to account, and I appreciate that you feel very personally affected by the proposals. We are proposing to continue this. It is the democratically decided decision of the City Council to do this. There's a lot of support for the scheme, and it is only a trial scheme, so we will work with stakeholders to make sure that when the trial is completed after 6 months, we can see what the best future plans will be.
Melissa, you also had a question on complaints, and that was directed towards Councillor Dyer. There was one question on that. Councillor Dyer.
Okay, thank you. So the question is about the complaints process. The Council has operated an internal 2-stage complaints process for over 20 years. The first stage is dealt with by a person of responsibility, often a team leader or manager from the service complained about. Complaints can then be escalated to stage 2, and these are handled independently by a case manager from the corporate customer relations team. Both local government and housing ombudsman recommend this model of complaint handling, which brings over 90% of stage 1 complaints to resolution without the need for escalation. They are seen as public sector best practice and in line with other local, unitary and metropolitan authorities in England. The reason we believe this model is the right one is because services have an opportunity to resolve complaints made about them, taking ownership of criticisms and accountability for resolving them, as well as giving them the best chance to learn from complaints by implemented changes and service improvement at a service level. Also, as Stage 2 is independent services, we believe this offers citizens the objective, impartial view they sometimes require if they're unhappy with their Stage 1 response.
Melissa, your supplementary.
Yeah, well, at Stage 2, sadly, they just ask the team responsible that's caused the complaint what their answers are to it, and then they lie again. So none of these complaints are actually going to anybody that's looking into them properly.
Melissa, do you want to turn that into a question?
Sorry?
You made a statement there, but did you have another question for Councillor Dyer?
I'm happy to respond to that statement if you want.
If you can, Councillor Dyer.
What do we do if our complaints are going unheard and ignored?
Well, what I'll do is I'll look at with officers looking at reviewing the system so that we can trace back what happens with those complaints so we can ensure that they are being dealt with appropriately.
Thank you very much, everyone.